Hi, I'm Jeff Gardisky with Centramatic's Motorcycle Division. We're here at Honda House of Elmhurst, Illinois to do an installation on a GL1800 with our Centramatic Goldwing product. Mike, I appreciate you having us here. Mike's our service manager here at Honda. Pretty simple installation, huh?
Not a bad installation. Just always refer to your service manual for torque specs as well as wheel removal and installation.
Well, what do you say we get started?
Sounds good.
Well, Mike, we've got the wheel off. You know, one of the things we've had issues with regard to rumor anyway, is that the ABS system is going to be offset by the balancer, thus making it ineffective. And as we can see here, let's go ahead and start removing this pulsar ring. The ABS system won't be affected because our ABS ring actually sits on a separate shoulder from the balancer.
That's correct.
I'll grab up a screwdriver here so I can point out something. Mike, as you can see here with our ABS pulsar ring, it sits on a separate shoulder, so let's go ahead and lift that ring up. As you can see, here's where the ring would have sat, and that is a separate shoulder from the rotor. Now, there's not going to be any problems with the rotor pushed out. There's not going to be any problems, obviously, with the ABS pulsar ring pushed out. It's not going to change your gap between the ABS pulsar ring and your sensor. Again, all these rotor bolts should break fairly easily. If they don't, take your time, because the last thing you want is a rotor bolt broken off inside your wheel that you've got to drill out or easy out. Okay, I'll help you get the rest of these out. Get those out of the way. Let you have the rotor. Now, Mike, you notice with this chrome wheel, we've got a good surface here and here. The chromer did a good job of masking off our shoulder for the rotor and our shoulder for the pulsar ring. It may be an occasion where you need to dress this chrome down around the hub to get your rotor on and off and your balancer on and off properly. If you have a powder coated wheel, you're going to have that same instance where you need to clean these surfaces off to make sure that everything fits properly. So let's go ahead and get our balancer in here. That went on a little bit tight, but it went down nice and easy. Putting our rotor on. And now we're ready to reinstall our rotor bolts.
Jeff, Honda does recommend in the service manual to replace the rotor bolts as well as the pulsar ring bolt.
But you both know that there's going to be those out there who are going to use their old rotor bolts, and if you do, be sure and use a quality thread locker, medium strength, on all the rotor bolts and pulsar ring bolts. So let's go ahead and get these rotor bolts started in here. You want to start these in here by hand, just a few threads to make sure that nothing gets cross-threaded, especially on an alloy wheel like this. That's the last thing you want to be doing is stripping or breaking off a bolt in your wheel. Mike, we'll start zipping these rotor bolts down. You want to make sure and do this in a star pattern, don't you, so that we get everything nice and flush.
Absolutely, in star pattern. Honda also says in the service manual to 15 foot-pounds.
All of our rotor bolts are now cinched down. One thing that's critical here, Mike, is to do one rotor at a time so you don't reverse the rotors because they are directional.
That is correct.
Okay, Mike, we've got the front wheel reinstalled, and what do we need to do next here?
Well, we have everything else tightened and torqued down. Front and rear brakes are pumped up. Now we have to align the left front fork with the index mark on the axle.
Now there's your index line on the axle. That runs completely around the axle. And what's important about this, Mike?
It's extremely important to be sure that that is aligned so the forks are parallel.
That way we don't have any problems with blown seals or forks running up and down with any kind of friction.
Correct.
So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and pull this out. You can see we're right at the index line, or barely covering it. We'll just snug our cinch bolts up. Okay, now we're ready to torque the pinch bolts.
Now before reinstalling your front fender and or accessories, be sure to spin the front wheel and make sure that it spins freely.
At this point, the only thing you should hear is the swish of the balancing media inside the balancer. Okay, Mike, we've come to the easiest part of our installation on the GL1800 Goldwing, the rear wheel. What we're going to do, I've removed all 5 lug nuts. We're going to go ahead and pull this wheel and pull it over to the left side of the wheel while the bike's on the center stand. Now, if we're going to replace the tire, we'd go ahead and remove the entire wheel at this point, replace the tire. But what we're going to do at this point is go ahead and put the balancer up in and on the hub.
So when you install the balancer, you need to be sure that the ring is facing the wheel.
You're going to go between the wheel and the hub and place the balancer on the hub. Now we're ready to reinstall the rear tire. Now, Mike, we've reinstalled everything, but the one question comes around, what do you do when it's time for a tire change? So we're going to reverse the entire process and show you how that works. We're going to remove the wheel here. We'll reach up in here, remove the balancer first. Now we can drop the wheel and tire assembly out. Now you can change your tire. You don't need to balance it, obviously. So we'll put the tire back up in the wheel well, making sure it stays over to the left side of the wheel well. Once we've got it up in place, we'll bring the balancer back into play, and we'll remount the wheel. We're ready to put the lug nuts on, bolt everything down to 80 foot-pounds, and we're ready to ride. Well, we're here at the conclusion of our GL 1800 installation of Centramatic balancers, and I've got some special guests here with me. Dick, I understand you've owned this dealership here at Honda House in Elmhurst, Illinois for 47 years.
Yes, I have.
That is the longest standing singly owned dealership, I understand, in the continental United States.
Yes.
So the other dealers may have been in business longer, but they've gone from generation to generation where you've not.
That's right.
And with great help like Mike here, your service manager, I appreciate your help on the install, Mike. I can't ask for better than that. You guys opened up your shop to us, and it's dealerships like you that sell Centramatic balancers and the service that you have that make me realize and our company realize why the open road never felt so good.